Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel Squaretron, and in this video we are going to be talking about few JavaScript features not many people know about. Okay, so let's dive into it. Welcome to our video on uncovering the hidden features of JavaScript. JavaScript is one of the world's most widely used programming languages and it's constantly evolving with new features and improvements. However, not all of these features are well known or commonly used. Yet, they can greatly improve your coding experience and make your code more efficient and effective. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about 5 such hidden features that you may not be familiar with, but once you start using them, you'll wonder how you lived without them. By the end of this video, you'll have a new set of tools in your JavaScript toolbox that will take your coding to the next level. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of JavaScript's hidden features. So for this video, I'm going to be using VS Code as my editor. I have already created a folder and created my files. Okay, so the first hidden feature or most people or whatever features that like most people don't know about is object.freeze. Object.freeze is a method that can be used to prevent an object from being modified. When you freeze an object, you can no longer add, delete, or change its properties. This can be useful when you want to ensure that certain data in your application remains constant and cannot be accidentally modified. Okay, but when you try to modify a frozen object, it will not throw any error, but the modification will not take place. So let's try it out. The way to do this is if you create an object for like const person equal to we'll give it a name as John Doe. Email, we'll set it as John Doe at gmail.com. And then for we'll just give it an age as null. No, we'll give it an age of 20. Now, if you just say object dot freeze and then input person. Now, if you try and change a value, first let's log this console.log person. Let's test this out. Let's open the console. Wait a second, my laptop's a bit slow right now. Okay, so if you open the console, close this. Here, object age 20, email johndoe at gmail.com and name John Doe. But now if you go here and then if you can try and change the property here, person dot age equal to let's say 25. Now if you look at it, it says age 25, but now after the object is frozen, if you try and say person dot age equal to 15, let's just say. Now try and console log it, reload it. The age still remains 25, doesn't reduce it to 15, so it's not changing the value. So the next feature or the hidden feature in JavaScript is console.time and console.timeEnd. These methods are used to measure the time taken for a particular block of code to execute. To use these methods, you first call console.time with a label and then call console.timeEnd with the same label after the block of code you want to measure. The browser will then display the elapsed time in milliseconds between the two calls in console. This can be useful for identifying performances between bottlenecks in your code. Okay, so now let's try it out. Let's say you have we don't need the HTML part for this, so we can we can just keep it like we'll create a for loop. use the snippet, change this to I, and set this to 8,000. Not this. Oops. Set the array instead of array length. Set this as 1,000. Now we can just say here in this console.log what I. So what this will do is it will console.log every number from 0 to 1000 in the console. Let's see how long this will take to run. To you check it, console.time, close brackets, and then give it a label for loop. The label is necessary if you want to have multiple console.time and then times in your application. Otherwise, you'll confuse between every single one of them and display a incorrect value. So console.time end. You have to enter the same label you gave in the top. So now let's check this. Reload. Oh, for loop is not defined. I must have made some spelling mistake. Let's try and leave this. Oh, now I understand. This has to be a string. Pardon me for the mistake. Now if you reload it, it's giving every single number till 1000. And here, it's saying 610 this number of milliseconds. So it isn't even 1 second. 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. So let's change this to 10,000. Let's see how long it takes. This might take a while. So it's finished. It took 5 seconds and then 304 milliseconds. So this can be useful, like I said, this can be useful for checking performances. Like if you have a really long loop, you're iterating through a lot of data from the database, you can use this to check how long it will take, and use a loophole to change the time. It will increase performance. Okay, so the next secret feature is console.error and console.warn. Okay, so these functions can be used to log messages to the console with a specific formatting. The console.error method will print the message in red color and will also print the stack trace of the error, which means the line and what's the error. The console.warn method will print the message in a yellow color and will not print the stack trace of the error. These methods are useful for logging error and warning messages that you want to stand out in the console. Okay, so let's try this out. So let's say console.log hello world. If you see the console, it just says hello world. But if you change it, like now if you say console.warn, hello world, check it, it comes in this type of formatting. Hello world comes as normal text, and then console.warn comes as a warning, and it doesn't show you the error, the start place. But now if you copy this down and just change it to console.error, put it says this. It's in a more error. It's more or less like you are controlling the errors. Like if you have a problem and you're not able to find out where, you can set these errors just in case something goes wrong, like in an if or else statement, and then you can verify. Okay. So the next one is console.assert. Console.assert is a method that can be used to test if given expression is true or not. It will log an error message to the console if not. This can be useful for debugging and testing your code. It allows you to easily check for certain conditions are being met. It takes two arguments: an expression to test and an error message to log if the expression is false. Okay, so let's test this out. Say console.assert. First, if you go over it, it says the first parameter is the condition, and then is what the message to print. So let's say if like 11 is bigger than, sorry, if 11 is bigger than 5, then say 11 is bigger than 5. Let's test this out. It won't print it because this expression is not false. It will only print the message you're sent if the expression is false. It can be useful for debugging and all that. So if you change this, 5 is bigger than 11. Same. Change this. 5 is not bigger than 11. Look at the console now. It says here, assertion failed. 5 is not bigger than 11. This is the message we entered right here. This is the message. And as you can see, if you don't like the background of this, the yellow and the red warnings, I'm going to give you the next hidden feature in JavaScript that will change your life. Okay. The next one is styling console logs. Haven't you ever wanted to change the boring old console log into something that you prefer, like a background color of pink, red, blue, whatever? JavaScript has made that possible. Okay, so what you need to do for this is set up a log. Now let's say my name is Darsh Adak. Okay. Now, what do you want to be styled? You can just say you need to put a percentage and then C. Now, if you go after the log, give the CSS here. You should say background, say blue. Let's say color white. If you open the console, here, Darshadak is highlighted. You can do anything. Then you want it for the font size to be a little bigger. Font size, let's say 19 pixels. Save it. You can do anything as long as it you don't have a bigger element, parent elements, that and all won't work. So okay. The next feature here is console.table. Console.table is a method that can be used to log data in a tabular format in the browser console. It takes one argument, which is the data that you want to display in the table. This can be useful for displaying complex data structures in an easy to read format. So let's test it out. Let's create an array. Now let's create an object. Say myself. So Darsh, let's give name Darsh. Give it name Darsh. Okay, then email. I'm not gonna give my real email. johndoe@gmail.com. Then channel name, let's just say Squaretron. Okay, so now let's try and do this is a very simple function, but it can change your life. Console.table, and then it's just like a console.log, but you'll see the difference. You enter the object name, go to the console. Okay, you can have it will display in a tabular format. It's better than the boring old. If you don't have console.log, this is what. If you enter a console.log, this is what will happen. The boring old object file. So that's way much better. And then can also be used for if you don't have an object and if you have only an array. Let's just change this to array. Can't have top. Oops. And let's delete the channel name as well. Change this to, okay. Now if you log it, it won't show the names. It just show like 1, 2, 3. Oops, I didn't change this. Let's copy it down. Let's say table. Okay. So see here. Darshadak, it's the before you could see the name of the property of what we have named Darshadak. So now since we have an array, you can't have properties in an array. So it is 0 equal to Darshadak. 1. The first thing in the array is johndoe@gmail.com. Second one Squaretron. Okay. So now these we are in the last two now. The last seventh one is in operator. The in operator is used to check if an object has a certain property. It takes two arguments, the name of the property you want to check for and the object you want to check in. It returns a boolean indicating whether the object has a specified property. So let's test it out. Instead of creating a new object, we'll just use the previous one we already had. Here, just replace this. Oops. Here. Now we are going to check, say, if else statement. If the property name, the first condition is the property name. If name in Darsh, let's say, is this cut? Oops. If in Darsh, we have, let's say, console.log his name is, my name is, let's say, Darsh.name, else console.log no name. Here, it's working. Hello world is getting logged. Okay, so next feature is more or less similar to this one. The delete keyword. The delete keyword is used to remove a property from an object. It takes one argument, the property you want to remove. It returns a boolean indicating whether the property was successfully removed. It is important to note that the delete keyword only works on object properties, not variables or functions. Okay. So let's test it out. If name, now let's use this object only. If name is there, let's just remove this. Now let's say the same here. Now let's try. Now as it said, the boolean is true and name is no longer there in this. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe and drop a like down below and comment down below what are your favorite secret features, and tell me if you knew all of them. Give your name down in the comments below. I'll give